Warning, this podcast was produced by two men who still think that swearing is both big and clever. As a result, it contains quite a lot of it. Therefore, this podcast is not suitable for children, unless they're really fucking cool children. Yes, people, it's Dave Fensom here with another episode of Pop Collaborate and Listen. Guys, I hope you're all well out there. Thank you so much for all of you that have been getting in contact with us. A shout out to our boy, Si Sharp, who's been in contact about the George Michael episode. He was pointing out to us that we're absolute losers because we didn't realise that not only is I Want Your Sex on the album Faith, there are actually 3 different versions of it. I Want Your Sex Parts 1, Parts 2 and Part 3. That's a whole lot of sex to be wanting. It's like me in my teenage years, but with none of the delivery. Also, shout out to our boy Neil, who's at Sausages on Twitter, who got in contact with us about the Prince episode. We were talking about what a funky weapon might be, and he pointed out that it's basically a pair of nunchucks with 2 James Brown dicks connected by a small gold chain. So that's the kind of highbrow shit we're getting over on Twitter at the moment. So if you want to get involved, do follow us at PCL Podcast. Come and get involved with the chat, guys. We're enjoying it. This week, we're talking about The Charlatans, not a record that I was particularly looking forward to, so have a listen and see what we actually made of it in the end. I've been having a busy week this week, guys. It's 10 to 11 on the day we're supposed to be releasing this podcast at the moment. I've just got back from a gig doing new material, working very hard at the moment, trying to turn over stuff for this new show. Just did a load of new stuff about mental health, which was quite challenging, but I'm feeling quite up because some of it went quite well. Had a great week last week supporting my friend Sean McLaughlin on his tour show. If you get the chance to see it, the show's called Hail Mary. Sean is just on another level at the moment. One of the best stand-up shows I've seen in such a long while, and it was an absolute honour to open for him. Also, bizarrely, Russell Howard opened for me last week at Top Secret. And when I say he opened for me, he went on first. Obviously, of course he did. But following him, that was quite an odd experience. What else is going on? I've got a few gigs this week. Going to be in... I don't even know where I am. Going to be in Scallywags Comedy up by the Welsh border. I can't even remember where I'm going to be. But yeah, so if you're up by the Welsh border, quite a long border, come and see me there. Got my comedy night on the Edge Comedy this Friday. Still some tickets available. We've got the wonderful Adam Hess. If you've ever seen Adam Hess before, you'll know he's one of the funniest stand-ups out there right now. So quick. So full of energy. You never really know what you're going to get with Adam, but you just know it's going to be fucking brilliant. So that's going to be this Friday, the 19th of April. Some tickets left on We Got Tickets and Eventbrite. Get involved if you're in the Brighton area, or if you're just down for a mucky weekend from London or somewhere else in the country. Anyway, guys, that is enough from me today. Please crack on with the podcast. Keep getting in contact with us via our various social medias. You can find us at pclpodcast.com. All of the links that you'll need are on there. Please enjoy the episode. See you next week. Hello and welcome to episode 11 of Pop Collaborate and Listen, where we listen to every single number 1 UK album of the 1990s in order and tell you exactly what we think about it. Why are we doing this? Apparently due to huge public demand. My name is Dave Fensom.
I'm Krister Greer.
Okay, Krister Greer, how are you, sir?
I'm good, mate. I'm very well indeed. Thank you for asking. You?
Yeah, I'm not too bad, mate. I'm not too bad.
Except that you've fucked your back. So
I have fucked my back.
Unlucky.
Yeah.
Unlucky.
Yeah, I have.
Especially whenever we're supposed to be going bowling tomorrow.
Yeah, that is true. We are supposed to be going bowling tomorrow.
But I'm taking this as the excuse you're going to use whenever I batter you at bowling again.
Yeah, I'll go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
Anyway, so, right, bowling banter aside, what are we doing here this week, Krister Greer?
This week, right, we are into October now, and on the 14th of October, for 1 week, the Charlatans' debut album was number 1 in the charts.
Okay, and that's called Some Friendly?
Some Friendly, absolutely, yes.
Okay, well, let's start, as we always do, by having a look at the album cover.
If we must, yes. It's...
Okay, well, it's stylised, isn't it? It's
yeah.
What we got is a picture of the band that has been put through some kind of Manchester filter.
Well, it looks like it's been printed on a faulty printer. It's like it's come out badly, but they've gone, well, it's too late to change.
Yeah, I mean, whatever has happened, it's been done on a budget, hasn't it?
Oh my god! I mean, whenever this came out, they were on their own. They formed their own label to release their first single.
Yeah.
Then they got signed to a small label. It was a major, but small major. There's no money behind this album,
and it very much looks like it. It's got we've talked a bit about this kind of prototype Photoshop work that was going on in the early 90s, and this is a prime contender of it.
I think it's like you said for one of the others. I can't remember which one it was, but those photo booths you have now, where you've got settings for watercolor or probably digitized or something like that. It's like a really primitive version of that.
Well, exactly that. I mean, it's certainly no Snapchat, is it?
This would be the worst filter. This would get you no new followers.
Yeah, no. I mean, it's very much of its time. Number one phrase of the podcast.
Well, indeed. And the thing is, if you look inside as well, because the front cover is, let's say, it's like someone has gone from left to right with a brush on a watercolour to spoil it. Inside, it's like they've done it, but they've gone up and down. So they seem to have done a few versions of this.
Oh yeah, no, I mean,
and they couldn't decide, so they put them both on.
I mean, whatever, you wouldn't want to miss out on one of them, would you?
Well, no, because it gives you such a different view.
So yeah, I mean, it's shit. But
it is a bit shit,
but it's not that shit.
Well, the thing is, right? If this were the Fleetwood Mac cover, or if this were an Elton John or Phil Collins cover, you'd go, what the fuck is happening here?
Yeah, but there's a reason they call this indie music.
Well, it's a tiny little band from the West Midlands who, they're all early 20s. They don't know what they're doing. This is the first time doing anything. They've gone with it. Fair enough.
Despite that, it's a number one album.
Yes, it is. And yes, it's only for 1 week, so it's not like they went in and hung around for ages because it was a million seller. It went in on a load of hype and goodwill for the band.
Yeah. For
a week. And that's fine.
Being, as you are, an ex-indie DJ.
Well, indeed, yes.
I'm presuming that you've got a bit of a relationship with this record.
Yeah. I remember it coming out. I remember all the singles, the ones that were released previous to the album release. I remember being excited that the Charlatans album was coming out, especially off the back of the big single, off the back of The Only One I Know. I was excited to hear this Charlatans album. I liked everything I'd heard so far, and I was very much eager to hear what they had left for the rest of the album.
Okay, for me it was slightly different. Obviously, I knew Only One I Know. Mm-hmm. I kind of had a passing idea of what indie was, mainly because the chart show had an indie chart.
Yes, indeed.
I think I didn't mind this song at the time, but don't think I particularly loved it. It wouldn't be until years later of going to kind of mixed indie and rock clubs that I would know
You've heard
that
it
song.
All. Yeah, okay.
Exactly.
So yeah, you weren't sitting at home excited that there's a Charlatans album coming on.
No, it wasn't on my radar at all.
Not at all. No.
And as you know, throughout the 90s, I had a pretty much pathological dislike for a lot of the guitar indie sound, particularly Britpop as we got.
Oh, yeah, later. Further on, yes.
Yeah, so this is not my bag musically. So I'm interested to check this out and see what it's got to offer.
Of course, but I think you from knowing you the amount of time I do, the baggy stuff isn't at the forefront of your dislike of indie, quote unquote music. No. The baggy stuff, there's some stuff you get.
Yeah, I like Stone Roses. I love Stone Roses. Like Happy Mondays.
Sure,
I can deal with all of that stuff. I like a bit of shoegaze here and there.
Of course, yep.
But yeah, like the whole kind of professional northerner kind of sound of indie is the stuff that really boils my piss.
Right, okay. Well, no, indeed, but we'll see how you got on with this then as we go through. I never bought the album because a friend taped it for me.
Sure.
So I had it on one side of a C90. I listened to it on that. I never even owned the whole album until one of the various reissues. I think it was when I was working in music promo when they re-released everything. I got a CD of it then. But this album, I never had an actual copy until that time.
I still don't own it.
All of the other ones through the 90s, all of the other albums, I've got most of them on vinyl, but this one I just never got around to buying because I had the tape.
I only own one Charlatans album, and it's because it's a number one later on in this, and you gave it to me because you bought it off Music Magpie.
Yeah,
so,
well, indeed, well, yeah.
And I won't be listening to it until I absolutely have to. make of that what you will. Right, okay, so track 1 is called...
Right, track 1, let's go straight into this. Track 1 is You're Not Very Well.
Right.
Okay, so let's play this and see how it starts.
Okay, so we've kind of got this Stone Roses shuffle with this. The differentiator here is this organ in behind it.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, the Charlatans have the organ sound very high in their repertoire. Tim Burgess. I love his voice.
Oh, it's so fucking bland.
I love it.
It's so bland, Krister.
Oh, mate, I mean, fair enough, I'm coming at this definitely in a biased manner, but I love that voice.
And as soon as this Hammond comes in here with a solo, I'm just thinking Vic Reeves. Do you know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? I'm thinking like golden foil curtains, working men's clubs.
Right, okay.
That's the vibe that's giving me.
Yeah?
Do you like this song a lot?
I love this song. I do. I think this is a fucking brilliant opener. I really do. I love the, like you say, that kind of shuffling beat, the bass line, the rolling bass line. The organ works for it. I mean, I'm not such a big fan of the organ sound. I think it's fine, but it's not like what makes me like the Charlatans. But I think that bass and drum and his voice is brilliant.
See, for me, it's like a funk track that's being played too fast and it's like lost all of its swagger.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's like it lost all of its. It's like there's not enough space in it to like have any real groove to it. I don't get it. Like, it sounds like a shit Stone Roses song to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, lyrically, it's anti-money, anti-establishment.
Not sure. I mean, I will probably say this quite a lot. I don't understand what he's saying.
I'm glad you said that as a fan, because I'm not going to criticise for the most part the lyrics on this record. You know, they are generally poetically written, and they're interestingly oblique. You know, they conjure some images.
Absolutely, yes.
But I can't tell you for the most part. Every time when I look at this, I go, so it's about this? Is it?
No, there's a lot of that. I don't get the point of his ire, because this is an angry song. Like, you know, he's angry about something.
Is he?
But I don't know what it is. I mean, the whole thing about You're Not Very Well is a veiled, you're a bit of a prick.
Yeah. I mean, there's bits in it where he sounds like he's talking about someone that's got some money, and then there's the whole thing about privatisation where it seems to be a bit like kind of anti-government.
Yeah, definitely. It's anti-someone or something, but I'm not sure exactly who it is.
Right, okay.
Yeah, but no, I agree with you totally on that. I don't know whether he's just gone pure stream of consciousness or if he's deliberately being oblique, like you say. Either way, couldn't tell you what he's talking about. But I am a sucker for his voice on that. I think it's I think it fits beautifully with this.
See that you know, I'm not saying I hate his voice completely or write it off in this, but just don't get it there. It's just it's bland and atonal to me a lot of the time.
Okay.
I think part of that's stylistic, and it's part of my problem with the style of the. Right. But yeah, I really like Ian Brown, which is also atonal. But
and the other comparison with Ian Brown is that neither of these people can sing live.
I mean, can't sing on the fucking record.
You see, I think on this record, I think there's a simplicity and a purity to the voice.
Okay, right.
I do remember though. There was in the mid 2000s, I think it was. Yeah. There was a point where the company I was working for were asked to promote a Charlatans live album. Yeah. And it was basically a greatest hits, but live. Yeah. And whenever we got that CD in the office, we thought it was a joke. We thought they can't actually be releasing this because his voice is so bad live. Yeah. And there was, I guess maybe this was before everything was auto-tuned post-production. Yeah. And it was shocking. I've seen them live a couple of times, but I was far too shit-faced to notice.
Oh, fair enough, mate. Fair enough. So yeah, look, for me, it's fine. Mm-hmm. I don't despise it at all, but it doesn't really do anything for me.
Right, it's not for track one. It's not hooked you in.
If someone was like, "Okay, listen to the first half of this song, and then you can either buy the album or not," it would be a definite no on it.
I see. Okay. Right, I do. I think this is one of my favourites on the album. Okay. Mostly because the drum beat and the bass line, I could listen to that go on for a while. I love that. Really, just that gets me. It really does.
For me, it's just too up tempo.
Okay.
If they slowed it down a little bit, I might jive with it a little bit more.
Yeah. Right. Okay. There is a fucking dreadful guitar solo in it.
Oh yeah. I mean,
I don't know why they've decided to put a guitar solo this bad in this song.
By like 1992, I was playing in a lot of local bands. And I heard that guitar sound in so many local bands.
Yeah, it is. That is exactly how I describe it. It's a local band guitar solo that you see in a pub and you're like, oh, well, you tried.
Yeah, it's some dude with, kind of straw-dyed hair, in curtains over his head. He's probably playing like an Epiphone Les Paul. He's banging it out. He's got a fucking wah-wah pedal.
Yeah, he's not afraid to use it.
Yeah, he's got a nickname like Blues Master. He's not. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, no, fair enough. Okay, well, very different opinions on track 1.
Okay, so track 2 is called White Shirt.
Yeah, and if track 1 was too fast and up-tempo for you, I'm intrigued to see what you think of this one. Let's see how it starts.
I mean, there is no way you can think that organ is anything other than naff, is there?
I wouldn't say naff. I'd say this sounds cheesy to me. This sounds like a Wurlitzer ride.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's far too jaunty.
Yeah, look, to be a contrarian, there are moments in this song that to me hint at something that the first song didn't.
Okay.
I don't like this song.
I mean, this is a very different sound to the first one.
I mean, it's still, to me, it's still bad white boy funk. But I put these songs together in that way. They sound like indie people when they're trying to be funky. It's got that kind of fast guitar lick. And, again, it sounds like a sixth form band to me. That's what it sounds
fair enough. But they pretty much were as well. You're right.
But there's little bits like that, like the kind of the phrasing of that line where she's like, she laughed and then she died. Yeah, that's really nice. That's, and that's again, not really 100% sure on this. I was like, is this about a grandmother or something? I don't know, right?
Not a clue about this one again.
But that line, I don't know, it's poetic and it kind of hangs in the air a little bit. I like it.
It works very well.
Again, don't really care for that song particularly.
Sure.
But there are moments in it where I don't, where I'm like, okay, well, I can see something there. There's a little bass bit on the outro that I like.
I was going to say, I think the outro was fantastic. Let's play a bit of that actually, because I think that works really well. And instead of going back into that Hammond and upbeat stuff, it ends in a really good way. So I'll see if I can find this.
She laughed and then she died.
Yeah, indeed.
Yeah, see, that's really nice.
That is, isn't it? Absolutely. That's a good way to end this. Yeah. To be honest, I'm not a big fan of this song. This reminds me of some of the influences that they obviously have. Spencer Davis Group. Yeah. That sort of thing. Those 60s mod groups. And I think it's a pastiche of those, but not a really good one.
Okay.
I prefer when they're doing the other side. I really do think that this is a total flip side of their sound. And I prefer the track 1 sound to this. Yeah, I mean,
I would say that in my mind, the kind of people that really like this song are the kind of people that had like Paul Weller haircuts at sixth form college,
sure,
and have still got them now.
Oh right? Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Those pricks.
Sure.
So track 1, track 2 for me, not loving it so far.
Fair enough. That's I completely understand that. I didn't expect you to be a convert. From getting straight into that. That's fair enough. But then, right, so track 3, we come to the big single.
It's the only one I know.
Yes, the only one I know, which it was the first single released from this album, and it was released back in May. I think we briefly talked about it when it was in the top 10. Yeah. And so it was a long time before the album came out, but it had such a shelf life on chart show, on radio, and being talked about in things like The Enemy, etc. That there was a real swell from it to build up. So
this wasn't actually on the original vinyl release of the album.
Yeah, I didn't know. I read that, and they weren't going to put it on because they were going to have a policy where there were only going to be one single per album,
right? And
the single they were going to have from this one was the second single then.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, obviously, the record label just turned around at some point and went, all right, this is ridiculous.
Yeah. I mean, you would hope someone to go, I think they made the right choice.
Oh, without a doubt. Yeah. The album is better for having this on it. In case anyone can't remember how this one goes. Everyone knows this.
Yeah.
Everyone knows. I mean, this is one of. I mean, growing up in the 90s and DJing in indie clubs in the 90s. This is one of the most popular songs for 5 years.
Oh, for sure, man. And you know, like, this is, you know, I've talked on the podcast before about how, you know the songs you don't like better than the songs you do like, and I cannot do, this song is so in my DNA of, I would say that I was actively going to indie clubs. The nature of clubs where we were in Luton, there wasn't an indie club and a rock club and a drum. All of kind of fringe music was in one venue.
There was an alternative club.
Yeah, exactly. So you heard the stuff that you wanted to hear, but then you heard everybody else's stuff as well. Yeah, and there's little tribes. And this was never one of my songs. But Christ, I mean, I went to these clubs from between about 1992. And, probably was going every week until I moved to Brighton in 2004.
2003 you moved to Brighton.
Oh, 2003, you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
I did. But yeah, so...
Oh, you were hearing it, especially in the 90s, in those, or that first half of the 90s, you were hearing this 2-3 times a week.
Yeah.
Every week.
Exactly. So I know this song really well, and it's a banger.
It's fucking brilliant.
I'm not a big enough arsehole that I would find any way to slag this song.
Right. It's catchy as hell.
It's straight up, man.
It's got everything, man.
Yeah, this. This song is probably why this album was so big.
Easily.
Vocal, it's kind of got a bit more presence here. Seems a bit more commanding, less thin and reedy than it sometimes is.
Sure. Okay. Yeah. Definitely.
It's a dancing in a student union covered in beer and sweat.
Yeah.
It's a joyous song for a time in your life when you've got nothing to worry about and you can just go mental.
Absolutely. I've got in my notes for this. I've got this makes me happy.
Yeah.
Because it sends me back to having the best time when you're 16 to 18, having the brilliant time, wishing you could talk to those girls over there because they're really pretty. But just getting shit-faced on cheap beer and dancing to the Charlatans instead.
Fair enough, man. So no change at all from your way you're living your life.
Yeah, quite indeed.
To this day.
Yeah, funnily enough, that's a pattern that's emerged. There was, obviously, again, this is because I was DJing at one point in like 3 or 4 different indie or alternative nights a week.
Yeah.
I got so bored of this song. There was a time when you just like, no, I'm not going to play that tonight. Right. You could, part of it is just being a dickhead, but some of it is like, come on. You have heard this every week for the past 5 years. Yeah. And so there was a period where I was like, no, I'm not doing that one. But then, by that point, the Charlatans also had other singles out that I could get away with.
Sure.
But people were still asking for this one because this is the hit. Yeah. And I understand that. People go, have you got I'm the Resurrection by Stone Roses? Have you got Step On by Happy Mondays? Have you got I'm the Only One I Know by the Charlatans?
Yeah. Rightly so. It's a big tune. It's it's a great song, and I was happy to hear it when it came on. So there you go. Right.
Totally.
But and to me, this is distillation of what they're knocking at the door on in the first 2 songs.
Oh, okay, sure.
I hold those three songs as just different levels of success of the same formula, and this one really hits.
This is where they nailed it.
I mean, a key note of this is they don't let the Hammond organ player go too mental in it.
No,
it's there and it's a feature, but it's not like fucking. Do you know what I mean? Oh, look at me. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, no, I agree. I think sometimes the organ is far too far forward in the song on some of these, and in this one it's not. This is another drums and bass groove as a bed for everything else to go on top of. Yeah. But it's brilliant.
I would say at times it is the most unwelcome organ since the time my wife was flashed at.
I see. Well, that's quite the picture.
Yeah, thanks. There's more to that picture. I was buying weed in a street in Luton. She was sat in the car outside.
It wasn't like pressed up against the window, was it?
I think he tried to.
Good lord. Oh.
And then he just ran away.
Fair.
Up the hill. It's the road we used to live in Cardigan Street.
Really?
Yeah.
Just ran up there. God's sake.
You've planned that wrong. Don't run up the hill.
Yeah, true. Well, anyway. I'm probably not the smartest man in the world. In reading around this, And I'd heard it before, but I'd never gone and listened specifically to it. People say, oh, it's just a massive rip-off of Hush by Deep Purple. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh yeah, I have heard that. But then whenever I think of Hush these days, I generally get the Cooler Shaker version in my head.
Oh God, yeah.
I'm okay with that. I think they do a really good version, but it's not the Deep Purple version. But I went back and listened to Hush, right? And it really is a big rip-off. Let's play Hush here.
Oh yeah, fair enough. Yeah. I mean, this is not the only time that we're gonna. Well, I don't know. It's certainly not the only time I'm going to accuse them of ripping off a big rock standard.
Right, fair enough. But that is a straight lift of that chugging riff.
Yeah, it really is.
And the other bit about it is that some of the lyrics are lifted straight from a Byrds song.
Oh,
There's a song by the Byrds called "Everybody's Been Burned." Sound familiar? Because the lyrics are everybody's been burned, everybody knows the pain.
Everybody has been burned before. Everybody knows the pain.
It's literally straight, there you go.
Hell.
Yeah. And whether or not that is Tim Burgess being a cheeky cunt and just having it, or whether he's trying to
pastiche.
or
pastiche,
tribute them or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
But either way, it is a straight lift.
Fair enough, mate.
But other thing I found when I was looking into this.
Oh Jesus.
Yeah, mate. I was looking to see, because I was thinking this is such a good little groove. Yeah. I wonder if that's been sampled. I wonder if someone's done something else with that.
Oh no, this is scaring me.
Right.
What is it?
Oh no, this is hilarious. This is so bad. And while it's not a sample, I did find that Scooter have a song called "The Only One."
Right. You know you love Scooter, don't you?
Go on.
Yeah, Cliff, who runs the Caroline where we run our comedy.
I know Cliff. Really?
Yeah.
He loves Scooter.
He loves Scooter. He loves the Venga Boys and he loves Scooter.
In an unabashed, unashamed, non-ironic way.
He doesn't give a fuck. He loves them.
Oh no, fair. My God.
This is one of the best live bands he's ever seen.
Band. that's a loose definition of band. But listen to this shit, right? I mean, Scooter have done many strange songs. They did that Status Quo sampling one, and then they've done this.
This is a strange thing that they've done, isn't it?
Yeah, because it's not like they've sampled it and used it. They've done their own thing, and then this comes in. Oh, listen. This is for the masses.
I'm calling you. Stand clear of the doors, please. Can't wait for the day to be done.
And there you go. There's Scooter.
I'm not going to lie to you, I'd probably rather hear that than the second song on this record.
It's such a bizarre one. I'm going to put it on our playlist that we have that goes along with these. Do go listen, because it's so bizarre. Has that at the start, and then sort of halfway through he talks about being justified and ancient, but there's no KLF tune that they're doing. They're not sampling that. They're just saying that they are like the KLF maybe, and then at the end it's got that yeah bit from "Come As You Are" by Nirvana.
Wonderful.
Thanks, Scooter.
Yeah, cheers, mate.
That's a journey. I did also watch the video for this, because obviously this is one of the ones with a video, and they do look like twats. You know,
of course they do.
Fair enough. But they were 20-year-olds in 1990.
Dude, we all look like twats. We all look like twats in the 90s.
Well, yeah, true enough. But it worked for them. Tim Burgess got so much fucking female attention because he looked like this poster boy indie haircut stuff. Yeah, so there you go. That's the big single. That's track 3. Track 4?
Track 4 is called Opportunity.
Yes, indeed. Right, Opportunity. Let's do that.
Okay, so this is a lot slower.
Indeed, another more chilled out one.
A little brooding.
Yes, atmospheric.
Mm-hmm.
And the organ's there, but it's but it's a nice little.
Yeah. See, this immediately works for me much better than.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, this is another big one with their play live. This is one of the ones that they would play for quite a while, and it would be a big tune.
Okay, well I can see that. I can see why.
Yeah.
So obviously it's got a big long intro into it.
Indeed, yeah. I mean, we're coming up on 50 seconds of this, and Tim Burgess doesn't start singing. I'm just wondering, I think he's talking about, I'm wondering how you feel about his voice in this one.
I think it sits a lot more nicely over this than, he's got this tendency obviously to sing like kind of half tempo a lot of the time over some of them. I just think a lot of the time what I've heard him doing a very similar thing that doesn't differentiate itself. It seems like he's kind of like Michael Caine-ing his way through the vocals.
I like that's a verb now.
Yeah, right, it absolutely is, right, just doing his own thing. But this, the vocal fits it. It's got that little kind of going round thing in there. This feels like it's had a bit more time and care spent with the production of it. There's different levels in the production. For me, it feels like, okay, this is them showing a bit more restraint, and rather than just going, I'm playing super fast, so look at what we can do. Actually, this kind of hits some notes with me.
Right. This doesn't sound like the Sixth Form band that they did on track 2, for example.
No, exactly.
This is a real big tune.
Yeah, I think this sounds like this sounds it sounds like a professional band,
a fully formed.
Yeah, absolutely. And for me, it's very different to the rest of the stuff.
Right. Okay.
I was worried by this point that it was just going to be a law of diminishing these kind of kind of wah-y funk tunes with way too much organ in there.
Right.
But no, this is nice, and I like this kind of big the big shoegaze break that comes right towards the end.
Yeah, absolutely.
Everything's a bit sparse, and I
think there's a confidence with this song that they're not trying to rush through it. They're not trying to get to the chorus, not trying to get to the hook.
Yeah.
They're just letting this groove flow on, and it's almost like there's waves of it coming in and going out, and they're willing to go with it.
Yeah.
I love it.
I really like this one. This one's it's my favourite new one for me that I've heard so far. So I really like this one. Don't have a huge amount. I don't really have any criticism of it.
Okay, and it's a 6.5 minute song, but it doesn't feel like it goes on too long.
No, that's it. And when it started playing, I was like, I kind of, my pen was twitching to write. Oh, this is going to be too long, you know. And it wasn't.
No, I'm perfectly fine with it. It's one of those ones. It's not. This is going to be a poor comparison, because it's not like a My Bloody Valentine song. It's not at that level. It's not like fucking a Mogwai thing.
Yeah, or a spiritual song.
Exactly. Yeah. It's not like that. It's a far poppier and cleaner version of those. But it has the same, I think, intentions behind it, that it just lets it go. And they've found a groove. They're almost jamming at this point. They're probably off their face on drugs.
Yeah.
It sounds to me like they've had a night out, one of the best nights out they could have with their teenage mates, and they have been running around. Find themselves on a beach at dawn, and the sun's coming up, and they're all just lying down, thinking we're young and invincible, never going to grow old and die. And the sun comes up, and this song's playing. It's that sort of feel to me.
Fair enough. Fair enough. That's I think that's a good analogy for it. So certainly like that one. I'll definitely revisit this song. Yeah. I think it shows that they've obviously got a little bit of psychedelia in their references. I mean, obviously, you can't. That's not really a surprise if you've got a fucking Hammond organ. But
right. This is showing their influences, that they're not just doing what their influences do.
Yeah.
They've taken it and done a bit of their own thing.
Absolutely that.
And I also like, because again, I'm not sure what the lyrics are. It's not straightforward again, but throughout the song there's a positivity to the lyrics, because he says, at the end of each chorus, he says something like, going round, the sensation I've found again, I won. I won. And then at the very end, the last line is, I fucking won.
Yeah.
And I love that.
Okay. Well, I mean, I guess you could read that one of two ways. You could read it a bit more Partridge as well, couldn't you? Needless to say, I had the last laugh. Right? You could.
Yeah.
But I'm choosing to give him the benefit of the doubt here.
I think this is youthful exuberance.
Yeah. You're smiling so... You won't be able to hear this. He's smiling so much. You love this song.
I love this song. I really do. This is... again... I hadn't heard this in ages.
Yeah.
I remember it from the time, and also they released a version of it on one of their best ofs, kind of a remixed version called Opportunity 3. And I remember that as well. I'm going, I remember when that came out, I was like, fuck, I forgot about this song. And again, I'd forgotten about this song, and yeah, just love it.
But have you forgotten about Dre?
Never. He would kill me.
Exactly. He fucking would as well. Right.
Cool. Okay, well there you go. Track 4 is a success for both of us, I feel.
Cool. I agree with you completely. Should we take a break from this album for a minute then, Krister?
Indeed. Right, let's have a look and see what was going on in the rest of the album chart while this was number 1. And like I said at the beginning, this was only a number 1 album for 1 week. So we're not looking at a long period of time in this.
So there's going to be fewer changes than there normally would be.
Precisely.
Yeah.
Precisely. We've seen some of these before. So let's race through this anyway. Number 10 this week is Elton John's Sleeping with the Past.
Okay,
which
done that.
We've done. Number 9, Iron Maiden, No Prayer for the Dying.
Okay.
So, again, I'm not the Maiden fan in this room.
Yeah.
Is that a full album?
That's a full album.
It's a full album, okay. Any good?
Is
Is there anything on that I would know?
It's not one of my favourite ones.
It's not. Right, because what's the one that comes out next in 91? Is that Fear of the Dark?
Fear of the Dark. That's 92, isn't
92,
it?
is it? Okay.
Yeah, I think
that's
so.
That's probably the next
Hang on,
one.
hang on. No Prayer for the Dark. I think it's the one with Bring the Daughter on it, isn't it?
Oh, that would make sense.
Let's have a look. Tail Gunner, Holy Smoke, No Prayer for the Dying, Public Enema number 1.
Jesus.
Fate's Warning. Yeah, bring your daughters on there.
Okay.
Yeah, the Assassins, Run Silent, Run Deep, Mother Russia. It's not a Maiden album I ever reached for. Let's put it that way.
In that case, not this album, because I've still never heard this album. But Bring Your Daughter to the Slaughter would have been the first thing I ever heard of Iron Maiden that I knew was Iron Maiden.
Right.
Because I heard the Lucasade ad, I'd heard Phantom of the Opera.
Okay.
But whenever, I think it was, no, that's what I call music 10 or something like that came out, and it had Bring Your Daughter on there. So I heard it because of that, and I immediately thought, this is dreadful. This is absolute nonsense.
I mean, look, Bring Your Daughter to the Slaughter is not the most defensible.
Yeah.
It's not the most defensible Iron Maiden song. Right? I mean, look, if we get too deeply into Iron Maiden, our friend John Mines is going to at us on the internet again. He's just going to be angry all over again.
But it is bollocks.
Oh,
I mean, I remember the video for it being on Top of the Pops. I think it was just like lots of kind of old 50s movies, stuff like that.
Don't remember the video.
And it's bollocks. I'm fine when people disagree with me because people like Iron Maiden for some reason.
Well, look, man, you like the Charlatans. So,
true enough.
I mean, that's the world we're living in. We're living in a world where I'm perfectly happy with being the guy that likes Iron Maiden more than the Charlatans, right?
Yeah.
And you're perfectly happy with being the guy that likes the Charlatans more than Iron Maiden.
Indeed. I'll wear that badge.
And you know, one of those bands can go anywhere in the world and play fucking stadiums, and the other one is the Charlatans. So we'll see, mate. We'll see.
But the Charlatans don't have to play Bring Your Daughter to the Slaughter at any of their shows.
And neither do Iron Maiden.
That's true
I've
enough.
never seen Iron Maiden play Bring Your Daughter to the Slaughter. Never.
Oh, God.
And I've seen Iron Maiden at least 10 times.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure. All right, well, number 9. So I suspect that probably went in higher and dropped down because Maiden fans would have got that higher than 9.
Maybe.
I don't know, but
yeah,
that would be my guess. The other Iron Maiden stuff seems to be in at like 3.
Yeah, it normally does, doesn't
Yeah.
it? It normally does. Let's have a look at the chart position.
Oh,
Yeah, it went in at number 2.
But that would make sense knowing what I know about Maiden and their chart.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So presumably, I wonder what it kept it off then.
What did we just do last? Could have been George Michael?
Maybe.
Or Pavarotti, one of those.
Fucking hell, imagine that.
Yeah.
Who's got the most operatic voice?
Quite.
Yeah, exactly. It's Pavarotti.
Alright, so number 8 is The Shadows Reflection, and again I suspect that's the best of.
Yeah, I mean,
care nothing about.
My dad likes the Shadows.
Yeah, I mean, you have to give them respect for writing Apache, which, almost invented hip hop. So The Shadows have this foothold in hip hop that is a weird thing to think about.
I mean, did Apache invent hip hop, or did that version of Apache?
Oh, of course.
Come on.
Of course, but without one, you don't have the other. It's one of those things.
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
You know.
But I mean, hip hop isn't created off of that version of Apache.
No, that would be a very different.
That'd be a very different hip hop, wouldn't it?
Indeed. Right, then Michael Bolton, Soul Provider, which we've had.
Yeah.
Then In Excess, X. So the follow-up to Kick, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm. It's one that had Suicide Blonde on it.
That's the one.
And,
yes.
Yeah. I mean, I don't
Devil
know.
Inside.
Yeah, no, Devil Inside's on the first one.
It's on Kick.
On Kick, yeah.
What's the one?
Never tear us apart on that. Was that? Do you know what? I can't remember.
What's the one? Sorry, 1,000 misty streets of blue. What's that one?
That's
Mystify.
That's Mystify. Yeah.
All right, I think Mystify and Suicide Blonde then are on this one?
Disappear's the other big single on it.
Okay, right.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think that's the two big singles on it anyway. But yeah, no, Disappear was a fucking big tune as well, wasn't it?
I don't remember it.
Oh, you know, all my problems, all my fears, and world.
Oh, okay, sure.
Yeah.
God, I forgot about that.
That's a great song.
Did you know this album at the time?
I didn't have it. It was it was an album that I would have liked to have had, but no one I knew had it. And my budget went somewhere else.
Of course.
But you know, the singles I really, really loved.
Oh, the singles were brilliant.
Yeah, I mean, I had Kick, obviously, but...
Right. I didn't own this, but I didn't have to because my stepdad bought it. He was an Australian, and also Kick was just so huge that everyone had that, and it was a big one in our house.
Yeah.
And so whenever this one came out, it was bought on basically day of release.
Oh, yeah, and I'm surprised it didn't go in higher.
Yeah, that seems to be where it was. It was never number one. I don't even remember being 2 or 3.
It seems strange to me that the Charlatans would outsell In Excess, but I guess that gives you a picture of how big this record was.
And it's entirely possible as well that this stayed at 4 or 5 for weeks, selling,
and that is true.
More, and the Charlatans definitely did not.
Exactly.
The next one, Van Morrison's Enlightenment. Which I don't give 2 fucks about, I'll be honest.
No, I don't care either. And maybe I'm completely wrong on Van Morrison, but I've never delved in, and whenever I've obviously I know there's some big tunes.
You know the big ones, of course. We all know Brown Eyed Girl, we all know Moondance.
Yeah, but
sure.
I think the thing of it was, I think someone I knew had some personal dealings with Van Morrison.
Oh right, yeah.
I don't even remember the story, but I just had it in my mind that he's a contemptible prick.
Oh, he's a legendary contemptible prick.
Yeah, but
everyone who's ever worked with him.
Yeah, from like a first-hand basis, though,
right.
Or a second-hand basis. So, and I think that's just put me off.
It does me too. He is just known as an absolute power-hungry arsehole. Power-hungry arsehole. A parcel.
A parcel.
Yeah.
Is that like a rissole with parsley?
Yes.
Vegan.
I think it's just how fast Harrison Ford flew the Millennium Falcon, isn't it?
No, don't start. Don't get into
with my bad Star Wars. I don't even know what I'm talking about.
You've embarrassed yourself.
I think I have. Okay, moving on. George Michael's Listen by Prejudice is at number 4. 3 Tenors in Concert is at number 3. And number 2 is Status Quo's Rockin' All Over the Years.
Of course it is, mate. And
you tell you what, I'm happy with that.
I am not. I fucking had this conversation with so many people about what a great band Status Quo are.
Yep.
And I got dragged along to see them.
Download,
yeah.
I was there.
And yeah, everyone was having a great time. And I was standing there going, this is dog shit.
I remember, because I was just in my element, loving every minute of it. And I would occasionally turn around to you standing behind me, and you'd have face like fucking thunder.
Dog shit. The main thing I was worried about, right, was that our friend Craig was going to get us beaten up as well. Because do you remember at the start of every song, he would just shout, "Sweet Caroline!"
Yeah.
Right? And there were some really angry-looking people.
Indeed. Yeah.
And Craig's built like a human fucking killing machine, right? But I was like, oh no, there's going to be a riot here and we're going to get caught up in it.
It was more like, he'll be able to handle himself, but we're going to have to get involved out of, loyalty. And because of Status Quo.
I mean, can you imagine getting in a fight?
So how did you break your arm? Well, I was at this Status Quo gig.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, that's the top 10. And again, because we're only looking at 1 week of the year, the only album I could say that was released at this point, that is of any worth to talk about, was Ride, Nowhere.
Okay.
So, I mean, again, I'm talking about a bit of shoegaze. I enjoyed Ride, I really did. I think they've got some absolutely brilliant songs, and I think they went very off the boil after the first couple of albums. But this period Ride is really cool.
Yeah, again, didn't really listen to them.
Right, at the time.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
I mean, this would be a prime album that... I kind of almost wished this had been a number 1 because
to get into the reason.
I don't think I've ever heard the album.
Right, okay.
In fact, I don't think, honestly speaking, that I could tell you what a Ride song is, and I'm sure there must be at least one that I've heard loads and loads of times. Yeah. What's the big single?
The big single would be "Leave Them All Behind." I'd say.
Couldn't tell you how that goes.
I remember just at this period of time as well, the Ride and the Charlatans were very often paired together as similar acts and similar bands, but a lot of that was because Tim Burgess looked quite a lot like Mark Gardner from Ride. But Mark Gardner, Ride were this intellectual, Oxford-based, kind of nice, not clean cut, but boys that you would take home to your mum, interesting art studenty boys, and the Charlatans were the scallies.
Right, okay.
That was the difference.
Yeah, and I mean, I mentioned the whole kind of professional northerner thing earlier. The other thing I really have a problem with in indie music is the art school twat. I mean, you know my feelings on Damon Albarn.
I certainly do.
We will investigate my feelings on Damon Albarn in depth later on.
At some point, yeah, sure.
But yeah, that kind of art school pretentiousness, and the kind of the absolute working class cultural appropriation of a man like that,
right,
makes me angry in ways that very few things that aren't directly personal do. And on a side note, you might have just heard my phone go off in the background,
yeah.
And I think you'll quite enjoy this. Lisa Brazier has just messaged me and said, things I learnt today on my morning commute, like a prayer is about blowjobs.
You see, educating the masses.
And literally that's what she's replied. I said, down on my knees, I'm going to take you there. It's not even subtle. And she's replied, I've never given it a second thought. I appreciate the education.
See?
There you go.
This is it. We shouldn't just be in the music charts. We should be in the science charts as well, I reckon.
Nice. Yeah. I think we should as well. Yeah, we should definitely be in the science charts. I think that's the way we should be. Right, okay, so that's it.
That's it for albums. That's all we got.
Anything else of note come out this week? Or
no, in the US, the number one single was James Ingram's "I Don't Have the Heart," and I could not tell you what song it is.
Who the fuck is James
Ingram? Was one of the ones on Yamo Be There. Yamo Be There with Doobie Brother bloke. Michael McDonald with Michael McDonald.
Oh, was he?
James Ingram, Michael McDonald. Yeah.
You know what? Some of that MOR stuff I've got quite a big blind spot for.
I couldn't have told you any James Ingram songs at all. This was apparently a number one in the States, and of course the number one album is still MC Hammer's Big Summer Not Hurt.
Well,
there's just no shift in that.
Yeah, exactly not. Yeah, I mean, like even Step by Step by New Kids on the Block couldn't fuck with it.
Nah, it's literally like 3 or 4 months that's at number one.
That's interesting, actually. Like if you're looking at the US charts, that Hammer thing, that is the beginning of pop music in America changing forever.
Right. Okay.
Right up till this point.
And presumably that is also one of the first times a hip hop in inverted commas album was like world beating at number one.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think before that came out, Tone Loc's Loped After Dark was the biggest hip hop album in the world. Obviously, Young MC had a bit of a run for a minute, and obviously the whole R&B swing beat genre was throwing out kind of.
Well, there were big albums,
big records,
and big artists.
Yeah, in terms of hip hop, the Hammer thing and then Vanilla Ice afterwards, that's what really
took
it to the mainstream. But then you fast forward, you fast forward to like 1991, and you've got like Naughty by Nature having and you get through that early kind of pop stage, and then actual hip hop starts.
Right, so it was a gateway.
Without doubt,
it opened the door.
It was a gateway for all of us in a way. I mean, I've like I said, we talked about this before. I've got that Hammer record up.
Yeah.
I loved Ice Ice Baby when it came out. Yeah. By then, I probably listened to NWA, as well.
You were, yeah.
But it dated very quickly and dated.
Well, in a way that pop music sometimes does. It hit a note at the time. But very quickly, other things came to surpass it.
Exactly.
Okay, but that's all we've got really for this time, this period in albums. So back into the Charlatans, yeah?
Yes, indeed.
Track number 5. Track number 5 is Then, which was the second single released off this album, and this is the one that came out immediately before the album release.
It's a really nice riff.
It is, yeah, absolutely. Nice little groove going on.
And see, this is one of the biggest examples of where I just don't like the vocal fit in
Oh, really?
music. Yeah, I don't jive with that vocal at all. It just does nothing for me. It, like, kind of cuts the song short as far as like, I'm into it up until that vocal comes in, and I'm like, no.
Yeah,
that's how
that takes you out of
it. Completely.
Oh, it's a shame, because again, I'm totally fine with the vocal. I think it fits perfectly. I think it's another good Charlatans tune, but I like what he does on it. I do think that it works for me.
Right, okay. And look, this lyric, this "I'm in a phenomena," you see, right?
I've got to know about that.
Now, is this ironic or is this megalomaniacal? There's a few moments in this record where there are lyrics like that, and I'm like, okay, is this being delivered with some level of irony, or is this you being a fucking swaggering Gallagher prick?
Right, okay.
Because one of those things I've got time for, and one of them I just genuinely don't outside of hip hop.
Okay. Because I'll be honest, I hadn't even thought of the option that he was doing it to say deliberately, I am phenomena rather than phenomenon. I hadn't thought of that.
Right.
But now you said it, I think he actually may well be. But I'm fine with that. I think you're projecting a Gallagher thing on that.
Am I?
I think you are.
I'm not saying that. I'm asking.
I see. Oh, in that case, no. I think you're probably right that he has said it because the whole song. I think it's about you did something to me, like you bullied me in some way, or you were down on me, but I'm rising above it, and I'm better than you, and you can't hurt me because I'm better than this now. And whatever you think you have over me, you're wrong. Okay, well, so I think it's that.
Okay, well, I've no issue with that as a sentiment.
Right, sure.
Of course I don't.
Yeah, I think it's a blossoming.
Okay, well, that's absolutely fine. But either way, there's this thing that they do. You've got these open power chords that they're using as a transition. And I hate that.
Oh yeah,
I really don't like that. It just doesn't. It's purely back into that kind of that sixth form band thing that it just reminds me of that, like bad bands I saw in Mr. Bumbles.
Okay, right,
that's what it reminds me of. And like Hammond organ solos are a tricky thing.
Yes.
Okay. Right?
Yes.
The Hammond organ in and of itself. I mean, there's some really good classic rock that I like that's got it in there. Of course. Like there was that Clutch record where they had that. But when I was listening to the solo on this, I was straight back Arnold Rimmer, Reggie Wilson territory. Reggie Wilson's 20 greatest Hammond hits.
Right.
To me, the Hammond solo on this is risible.
To be honest, I think this is a good song. I don't think it's a great song. I liked it a lot more at the time because it was new to me and fresh.
Okay.
Going back to it, it's okay.
I think this is an objectively bad song.
Oh, do you? Oh, right. No, I would disagree with that, but I have a lot of baggage with it.
It's got a really nice central riff that is thrown away, I think.
I think there are wasted opportunities in this song, but I think overall it's still, let's say, for me, it's still a 6 out of 10.
Yeah, I mean, I'm nowhere. It's not a 0 or a 1, but it's a 2.
Okay. Me. Right. It's a second tier Charlatan song for me, but I still think the second tier is alright. Yeah,
no, I mean, I don't hate it, but I don't like it.
Fine, no, that's okay.
And I'm very surprised it's a single.
You see, I do see that. I think it's because it's catchy and poppy in a way that somewhat like Opportunity isn't. You're Not Very Well isn't. You couldn't do those as singles.
But I don't think this is catchy.
Oh right, I do.
I just don't see that. It doesn't catch me at all. And I love a good pop hook.
Oh, of course.
But I just don't see it in this song at all.
Right. I mean, I suppose also I'm also coming at it that if you think about the fact they didn't want to have more than one single on an album, they had this pretentiousness about them and a preciousness about we're not a singles band or whatever it is. I can see that they would be happy to release a song that isn't an instant pop hit as a single because they're like, no, this is what we're about. Yeah. And while the only one I know is a massive pop song, and this isn't so much, I can see that they would be totally fine with going, no, this is actually more like what we are as the Charlatans, so I'm putting it as a single. And also, realistically, it's either this or White Shirt as the other single. There's not really another single.
Christ. Yeah.
That's the thing as well.
Okay, well, I think we disagree a fair degree on that one.
Yeah.
But okay, so the next track...
right, is 109 Part 2, which is a kind of an instrumental interlude sort of thing. I'll play a bit of this. I'll start it a bit in because it is just kind of a mass of noises.
Yeah, we've got a lot of samples in this, which was, de rigueur at the time, I suppose. It's very, very sparse, kind of thing. Look, I got a minute and 20 seconds into this one, and I just wrote, this is fucking pointless.
It is pretty pointless, I will give you that for sure.
And the thing is, I'm talking, as you know, as a Tool fan, right?
Right.
So I am no stranger to an oblique atonal instrumental, right?
Yeah.
Okay? But this one, it builds a bit, I suppose, right?
Yeah.
But I just don't understand what they're trying to do with it, and I don't understand how it in any way goes with what the rest of this record is.
No, I don't think it does.
It's like, is this a Pink Floyd moment for you or something?
Right,
This feels an awful lot like someone trying to fill some space in a record.
Definitely. And the thing is, they admitted, post this album coming out in interviews, that some of these songs were absolute filler because it was put out so soon after they formed, and they didn't have enough songs to do a whole album. And so they say, there's some that we wouldn't have put on there if we didn't have to.
That is very much my impression of this record.
I would be happy with this not being on there. I don't think it needs to be. It doesn't advance it, doesn't do anything.
Yeah.
I suspect what happened is, because there's that little riff in the middle of it where they play that for a while with other stuff going on. Mm-hmm. I wonder if they just had that riff and couldn't put a song together around it, so they were like, well, this'll do.
I mean, save it for the next record, boys.
Well, yeah.
A waste of everyone's time.
Yeah, absolutely. So skip that one. Track 7 then is called Polar Bear.
Yes. No, I was not expecting this.
No, this is entirely out of place with the sound of the album.
But this to me sounds like kind of decent 80s pop.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I was like, okay, I like this. But I've got to admit, the thought that's in my mind is, they're going to fuck this up in a minute. Right? And then fuck it up they did. They start throwing in the weird noises, don't they?
Yeah.
And, okay, so you're messing with this, okay, maybe you're corrupting the form, let's see what you've got. And then by the time the vocal starts, it's used up all of its goodwill for me.
Okay, yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
But I'll be amazed that you had any goodwill from the intro of this.
I liked it. I was like, this is
surprised.
Fun.
Yeah.
I was like, this sounds fun. What are they going to do with this? I reckon if they'd have given this to EMF, EMF could have done some good shit with it.
Right, sure.
I'd like to hear what matey from EMF had to do with it.
I have my notes. This is like there's Jesus Jones-esque.
Yes. Yeah,
that sort of thing. It is. It's not a Charlatan song.
For me, this is my, I mean, obviously I have got a conception of what a Charlatans song is. But, going into this record, I mean, maybe that's part of their thing. I don't know, So,
right.
This is an example where the dour vocal that he puts over it just totally pulls it. Mm-hmm. This is not a song that is suited to his aesthetic.
Right, okay.
Specifically.
Okay, sure.
And, I mean, there's a lyric in there. The one about the bag of revels.
Yeah.
That's a shit lyric.
It is.
That is. And when he goes, I'm looking for the orange one. The orange one is the worst one in the bag of revels.
I know.
I mean, why would you look for that?
Unless it's to throw it in the bin.
Yeah, or stamp it out of existence.
Yeah, my God. No, it's a very strange line. And it does, it stands out, that line, when you're looking through it. You go, all right, this is a particularly specific reference as well. But it doesn't fit with anything else. Mm-hmm. It is a jarring thing.
Oh, absolutely.
But I think this is a jarring song.
Well, I mean, for me, I just put this seems to me like a masterclass in ruining a song.
Right.
You start off with something that shows some promise, and then every layer you add on top of it just devalues it and makes it worse.
I see.
This is, like you say, this is a band that's only just formed. Mm-hmm. They're finding their feet. They're finding out what their sound is, what they're doing, and fair enough to them for trying something else. But I mean, I don't know in the albums that follow if there's anything else like this. No. But this is a failed experiment.
Well, they've also said post-release on this that this is one of the songs they do not like the production on. I guess it being their first foray into this, they probably had the label and the producer going, let's just try this. Let's just see what happens, and they went with it. But they have gone back and said they do not like this one.
Sure, and again, like objectively as a piece of music, I quite like the way the start of it is produced.
Yeah.
But, you know, it
But
doesn't,
then it goes off.
it doesn't sound like them.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't sound like them at all. The EMF comparison is a very good one. I hadn't thought of that. I wonder if we had to do an EMF album and this was on it, I might be a lot more amenable to it.
Yeah.
But I really dislike this song.
Okay,
I think this is fucking dreadful.
I hate this. It's
Right.
like, it's like a masterclass in ruining a
Oh,
song.
totally,
That's what I've got.
There's not a bit about this I like.
Okay.
It's one of these ones, I bet you if you gave me this album and you didn't put this song on there, if you taped it for me and left this off, I would be totally happy. And then if you then went, oh sorry mate, I forgot to put this one on, I'd go, you're joking. What is this? This is not the same album. I would not believe you that this was on if I didn't know it. It seems a very strange choice and the wrong choice for me. But yes, there we go. We're both not fans of that one.
Lovely stuff. So,
Track 8
is Believe You Me. So we're back in White Boy Funk territory.
But this is, for me, by far the closest they've got to the cliche that everyone threw at them.
Yeah.
That they're just a Stone Roses rip-off.
This sounds so generic to me.
Yes. Yeah. And sometimes I'm okay with that. It was 1990, a lot of bands were doing it. You know, I have specific songs that sound a bit like this that I like from that time.
Yeah.
You know, there's a 5:30 song I really like. There's various World of Twist sort of songs I like that sound a bit like this. But this is, if you imagine someone like French and Saunders did a Manchester sketch,
Yeah.
it would sound like this.
I mean, like, didn't Newman and Badillo, Wearing Whitehouse Experience, actually do stuff like
Very
this?
probably, yeah.
So yeah, I mean that's like, this is obvious. It's got a particularly offensive organ solo in there.
Yeah, but is that before or after the bass guitar breakdown that they do in a lot of Stone Roses songs?
Well, yeah, I literally put it, okay, it's got the Fool's Gold bridge to drop, right?
Yeah.
And that's what it's got, right? But instead of going into, when Fool's Gold goes into that just fucking ridiculous beat,
Yeah.
and like it's just the coolest fucking sound in the world.
Yep.
It goes in, again, this working man's club, cabaret, do you know what I mean? Someone's in a sparkly suit, there's an Elvis impersonator on next, you know. Like, I've just got this picture of the keyboard player, right?
Uh-huh.
Somewhere in the West Midlands,
Uh-huh.
right? He's grown up, and from a very young age, probably his mum has made him take piano lessons.
Okay, yeah.
Right? Now, I've got a picture that he's got one of those big Yamahas with two keyboards in it in the front room. It takes pride of place, and he's made to practice at it every day, right?
Yeah.
Family gatherings, people gather round, he plays the entertainer.
Okay,
right?
sure.
And then he's
Bit
just
of
going
Uptown
like,
Girl.
he's like, okay, well, I've learned all of this stuff, so let's do all of this all the time. Because the
Right.
guy can play. I mean, he's very,
yeah.
very, very good at playing the Hammond organ.
Yes.
But that's a poison chalice, isn't it?
Right.
It's like, mate, tone it down.
But yeah, indeed. But the thing is, that because it was such a big part of the Charlatans sound, they were never going to tone it down. Because that was their thing.
Yeah, but when it works, it's when it's simple and atmospheric.
Sure.
When he goes full lead, the Hammond organ should never be a lead instrument in a rock band.
It's rare that that's going to work, yeah.
I mean, I'm gonna say that should be a rule. Oh. Has the dog farted?
Christ almighty.
Oh my god. Has he farted? Yeah. Oh, that's fucking brilliant. Right, come here. Come. Oh Lord. Oh,
that was sudden and brutal.
Come on. I think you might need to go outside.
Sorry, it just took me by such surprise.
That's hilarious. That's one of the funniest things I've seen.
Oh wow. A nuclear bomb that was.
I mean, I didn't even smell it.
I got it all. Sucked it right in.
It's fucking brilliant.
You're saying about the keyboard player, he was called Rob Collins, and perhaps it was his life of having to learn the keyboard that made him help a friend rob an off-licence in 1992 and gets into prison for 4 months.
Fuck off, really?
Yeah, indeed. Yeah,
in 1992?
92, yeah.
But surely he must have had money at that point.
Well, he claims that he was just waiting for... He didn't know it was going to be a robbery. He was waiting for his friend in the car. He was the driver.
Right.
And he said he didn't know his friend was going in to rob this off-licence until he heard a shot, and his friend came back out.
Right.
So he pleaded to some lesser charge of aiding a criminal with a shotgun or whatever it is, and that's why he only got 4 months. But he was an accessory to an armed robbery.
Jesus.
In 92, yeah, when they were in the middle of massive tour. I was at Reading 92, my first Reading. Yeah. They were second headline on one of the stages then, so they were huge at this point.
Yeah, I mean, who did they draft in to do the...
well, at that point, I think, again, I was drunk for the whole time, so I'm not sure, but I suspect he played at Reading. No, he probably would have done, because it was committed in 92. I don't think he went to prison until 93.
Right. Okay.
So he did that.
Because that's a difficult thing to replace, isn't it? A Hammond organ player.
Indeed. Well, they eventually did have to, because he died in 1996.
Oh, did he really?
He died in a car crash.
Fuck me, he didn't have a lot of luck, did he?
No, he really didn't. He died in a car crash, and that was in the middle of recording one of their big albums, and they got the guy from Primal Screaming to do keyboards for the rest of the recording on that. I think he did a lot of the live stuff as well for a while.
Okay, fair enough, mate. Didn't get Reggie Wilson in?
No.
Or Richard Hammond.
Hey! Speaking of organs that unpopular.
Oh, you've just moved the podcast into top gear.
Oh, well.
Where are we now?
So that was track 8. So we might as well take another wee break, because we've only got a few left to go, and have a look at the singles chart. We've got some biggies in here, we really do. We've got some that we've seen before, so we can skip through those, but we've got some, well, I would say some quality, that would be a lie.
Okay.
We've got some big songs is what we've got.
Nice.
Number 10.
Okay.
Right? And this is fucking dreadful. I remember this coming out. I'm being aghast.
I'm glad I put this tape in.
Oh my god.
I'm glad I put this tape in for a start.
I'm glad I put this tape in.
Yeah, Hammer.
Look at the stars in the sky.
This is Have You Seen Her?
Yeah.
Was this the not immediate, this is the next song after Can't Touch This, was it?
I think he did, yeah. What was the single? Can't Touch This.
Pray.
Pray. I mean, there were a number of singles off of that album.
Such bollocks.
Oh, it's awful, mate.
It's insipid cack. But in the same vein, was this the same year that LL Cool J did I Need Love?
No, that was much earlier. That was like 1988, I think.
Was it?
Yeah,
right.
I think so.
Just in terms of
because this is the album. This is the year that LL put out. Mum Said Knock You Out.
That's true. Okay, yeah.
So yeah, no, this was
previous. But fuck me, it's wishy-washy shit.
Oh, it's awful.
But it was a big hit for him, wasn't it? I mean, that's number 10.
Who's the original? Was it Charlatans? Who's the original?
I think it's Charlatans.
Yeah,
indeed. But let's please move on, because that's so bad. Number 9 is Pet Shop Boys, So Hard.
I don't remember this one.
I didn't either, but I'll skip to the bit.
Oh, I remember this.
Right, yeah. But yeah, from the title, I was like, no, I don't know. Number 9.
I'd love to see the Pet Shop Boys live.
They would be good. They would be good.
Yeah, one of these years they're going to play Pride, surely, when you go.
They must do. Yeah, surely they would. They didn't do Festival either at times you were there.
I've never been to Festival.
Oh, right. But yeah, this is a good tune. It's not their best tune, but it's still a goodie.
Yeah, I mean, I forgot completely about this song's existence, but it's alright. Yeah, it's not, like you say, it's not one of the best ones, but
yeah, I remember this chorus. Yes, exactly. That's a quality one.
Yeah, brilliant.
Number 8 is New Kids on the Block with Let's Try It Again and Didn't I Blow Your Mind?
Oh yeah, we don't need to hear that.
No, we really do not. Right, number 7 now. You'll remember this. Let's see if you can get who it is.
24/7, kick it one time. Ladies and gentlemen.
Oh.
Ladies and gentlemen.
This is Mikey Mark.
No. I mean,
Kick it one time.
He did just give the game away a little bit, but...
It's bar time. Surprise, it's me. Yeah, I'm Hollywood, the down MC. I'm up on the mic doing what you like. I'm just rocking to the beat of the early light.
There's nothing more 90s sounding.
No, this is this. What is this?
Hold on.
Discrimination I can't stand.
It's I Can't Stand It. A 24/7 featuring Captain Hollywood.
Oh, do you know what? I'm not remembering this.
Really?
I remember Captain Hollywood. But I think I've blocked this from my mind.
Total arse. Such a
for sure.
nonsense.
It's like just kind of sub CNC Music Factory.
Exactly. That's exactly what it is. They heard CNC Music Factory do something good and they went, oh, that can't be that difficult. Yeah. Oh, wait.
Break out the Casio beat.
Yeah, I mean, like I say, it's got that oversampled woo yeah thing in the background. It's got some awful synths in it, and let's face it, he's not a good rapper.
Yeah, it's got that thing where everyone's got the same vocal tones, where it's like it's too deep. Yeah, it's too. Yeah.
Hey.
Somewhere between that and Snap. Do you know?
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Right, so that was number 7. Number 6 is Technotronics Mega Mix, which I remember.
Jesus, because I remember. What was the point in that?
Money. It was literally we put
Mix.
3 songs out. Let's put all 3 out in one single.
That's insane, isn't it?
Yeah, but I'm fucking number 6 in the charts. Number 5 though, right? Now you'll know this. The impassioned vocal. You getting anything?
Was I out of the country this week or something? Like I normally know this.
All right, no, wait till we get to the chorus actually on this one. This was around for a while as well.
This is
Here we go.
Nothing at all. Oh, I remember the chorus.
Right, yeah. I've been thinking about you. I've been thinking about you as the name of the song.
Yeah.
London Beat.
London Beat.
Yes. All right. Well, number 4. You're not going to like this one, Tom. I mean, I don't particularly like this, but I think this is probably the best one they did. This was number 1 for ages as well, I'm sure.
Oh, Jesus fucking Christ. Oh, I fucking hate these cunts.
Yeah. Indeed, that was number 4 this week. Beautiful South. We're going to have to listen to one of their albums at some point. They're on the list in this decade.
I'm not doing it.
But it's one of the ones
I'm calling it sick.
I'm pretty sure they've got a best of, which we can ignore.
Right.
But there's an album we're going to have to do.
I mean, like, they're top 5 worst bands of all time. They're awful. Are they as bad as the Lighthouse Family? I think they are.
Probably. In a different way, but yeah, probably.
I fucking hate I hate the Beautiful South.
Right.
I hate them, Krister.
I can tell you, I can see your face.
Oh my
you
God.
really do.
I mean, I'm trying to go into these albums with no preconceptions, but I cannot.
No, that's.
If I like it, I'm going to shoot myself.
Imagine. Oh, that would be my favourite thing. If you go, tell you what, actually, those non-single tracks, they're okay.
Oh, fuck
But right, okay, well that was number 4. Number 3, I'm not going to bother playing this, Bobby Vinton, Blue Velvet. Number 2, and I can tell you're not going to like this already because we've talked about them, but off the Status Quo album, it's the Anniversary Waltz.
Yeah, I've nothing to say to you, mate.
No. The thing I love about this is it's loads of old songs in one medley.
Oh yeah.
They all just sound like Status Quo.
Of course they do.
Whatever Status Quo do, they've made it sound like Status Quo.
I'll tell you what I did think though. You remember when My Chemical Romance were the biggest band in the world?
Yeah.
And there was all this kind of like nonsense in the media about them being a dangerous band.
Oh, sure, okay.
And, suicide cults and all this thing. And there was this whole mystique that My Chemical Romance, and they brought that song out called Teenagers. And I listened to that, and it's just like, and it just sounds like Status Quo.
Oh, really? I don't remember the song.
Because the drugs never work, they gonna give you a smirk, cause they got methods of keeping you clean. They gonna rip up your heads, your aspirations to shreds. Another cog in the murder
But
teenagers care the living shit out of me. It really just sounds like Status Quo, man.
I remember thinking there was a Foo Fighters single that sounded like a Status Quo song. But number one this week, and this is a fucking belter. This is one whenever we do montage nights.
Yeah.
You know, this is peak montage.
Oh my god, isn't it?
This is so good. So
man,
good.
I love this Maria McKee.
Yeah. I mean, there is nothing wrong with this song. This is flawless. Her vocal is brilliant. The massive crescendos, the breakdown is amazing.
Let's think about this is the beginning of the beautiful love that Tom Cruise and Nicole Kidman shared.
It's true, yeah. Oh, happy times for all.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Now, Maria McKee number one. I'm very happy to be able to play that on this. That makes my day.
Nice.
Other singles, and again, this is only we've got 1 week to look at. Peaking at number 12. Never got high on number 12. Name this one.
It's a Shame by Money Love.
Yes, indeed. I'll tell you what, whenever I was playing this over the last couple of days to put it in here, I was amazed at how much of the lyrics I could do without any prompting. No. My sister, tell me what the trouble is. I've tried to listen in and give the best advice that I can give. So, what's up with you this time? Your honey took a dab and now he's playing with you. I know, this cannot be accepted. The feelings that bring you are misconcepted.
I mean,
I've gone off, but yeah.
And I'll be amazed, actually, hearing it that way, it does make me wonder why she didn't do it in an Ulster accent in the first place.
What's wrong with her? Hey?
Exactly, mate. She would have been far less troubled had she done it.
Oh, I loved that single. I really did. I big soft spot for that.
And if anyone thinks that Krister sounded a little bit muffled, Raffinette's because he is, of course, wearing a balaclava. But that's a fucking tune, man. I love that tune. It's a big tune.
Yeah, big fan. Big fan of that.
Mate, when we do the podcast next time, can we get some of those Tim Westwood buttons?
Oh, for sure. We're just like bombs and
I
air
think we
horns.
should have some of that shit.
No worries, we'll get a soundboard.
Add one in there, definitely.
Understand that!
Done.
Wicked.
Other singles, I mean, one, I don't necessarily need to play it because it peaked at 80. Saint Etienne, Kiss and Make Up. And that was the first I ever heard of Saint Etienne. I really
and me as well.
Really like that. And Carter, the Unstoppable Sex Machine, peaked at 83 this week with Anytime, Anyplace, Anywhere.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, fair enough.
I would play a bit of it, but the intro goes on for about a minute.
Well, let's not bother then.
Yeah, sound fine.
Fair enough, move ahead.
Yeah. So there you go, that's what's singles this week.
Cool.
But
mixed bag, I would say.
A very much mixed bag. Yeah, I mean, you're starting with the worst possible MC Hammer song.
Yeah.
And you're ending up with Maria McKee. Let's finish off this Charlatans album then. We're going into track number 9.
Okay, this is going to be... what's this one called, Krister?
This one is called Flower.
And how are you spelling that?
I'm spelling it as I would pronounce it. F-L-O-W-E-R.
I mean, that's not what you just said, mate.
Flower.
Flower.
Flower. That's what it's called.
F-L-A-R-R. This one's called Flower. For all for anyone listening outside of their own gene pool.
You're all twats. Right. Let's play a bit of Flower.
Yeah, I mean, this is kind of fairly standard issue drab indie, isn't it?
What this reminds me of is a band playing what they think a Pixies song would be. Because this doesn't sound like other Charlatan songs on this album to me, this intro.
No.
When the organ comes in, it does.
Mm-hmm.
But this intro, it sounds like an early Pixies number. Just that big, really big thumbed bass. And the little drums coming in, and the kind of more scratchy guitar.
Yeah, it's got that, a little bit of that kind of Sonic Youth as well about it. That kind of American indie sound. Yeah, I think that's a fair comparison.
Yeah.
it just doesn't sound like a song with very many ideas of its own, really.
No, I've got to note that I don't think this starts well. I think it starts a little bit flat. It doesn't hook me in, but I really enjoyed the chorus. The chorus lifted this up for me.
I haven't made a note of that. I don't even remember how the chorus goes.
I'll see if I can find a wee bit of that. Right, yeah, the chorus here. I like this. This is a bit of a swell for me.
It's got that line in it as well. It's got another one of those. Like, I told her I'm ahead of my time, or no, I told her I am of my time.
Okay, yeah.
I don't. What's that mean?
The lyrics on this are beyond me again.
Yeah. No, I mean this is fine, but it sounds half finished, and it feels like filler to me. Again, we're back in that. I know they've said that, and
this is kind of at the end. This is track 9. Chuck it at the end. This is a bit bland, I feel.
Yeah, I mean, it's much too long.
It almost sounds childish to me. It's in the chorus. It's like time to say goodbye, bye to the bad girl. That's not a good line. No. That's not a well phrased line at all. But I like the idea behind it. This song is called Flower, but one of the lines is, "Don't bring me flowers." Fuck you. Don't bring me flowers. But the idea behind that is, don't feel sorry for me that this relationship has ended, because I know I'm better off out of it.
Right.
So I don't want your sympathy. I'm okay now that this is over.
Yeah.
And so I like that. That imagery I get with. But I think in general, the lyrics don't do this one any favours.
No, I don't think so. Let's okay. Let's I think
move on.
Yeah, not too much. So the next one's called Sonic. Oh, they're a lot more upbeat now.
Really is.
See, like the vocal here works a bit more for me.
Yeah.
Don't know why.
Okay.
This song for me, I kind of like half of it, and I really don't like half of it. And it's not that I can go to you, okay, well, I like this song up to here.
Yeah.
There are bits and ideas within the song and I'm like, okay, these are good. And then it will just undercut it with something that I really don't like.
Okay.
Like, there's that weird lyric about builders in comas, it just seems really, it just really annoys me.
Yeah, I mean, the line is, I know some things are better left to die in a coma along with the builders. I don't understand what he's trying to say at all.
And it just seems pretentious.
Yeah, exactly. He's forcing that in.
Yeah.
Because surely he knows that means nothing.
Yeah.
So just say what you mean. Now that does it annoy me. You're right. Don't get that. But I think the verse bits are too kind of country rock for my liking. I don't like that. But again, I like it when it gets to the chorus. I like that change.
Yeah, I don't mind the chorus in this, and I kind of like. There's just a moment when the organ comes in and it starts off, and then it changes slightly, and I kind of like it when it starts, and then I hate it when it changes.
Oh, I see. Okay.
And there's a lot of that throughout the song. I mean, the one totally indefensible part of the song is at the end of it. There's like it ends on just the drums, and it just sounds like Jive Bunny.
I'm going to have to play this because I hadn't put that in. Let me play the end. Oh, yes.
Come on, everybody. Come on, everybody.
That really does. Well, they've had some hits that year. They're an influence.
Exactly. I'd love to see that. I'd love to see that on the influence. Maybe Tim Burgess was the voice of Jive Bunny.
Fuck me. Oh, God. No, that's brilliant. I love that.
Okay, so this brings us to the last song on the album. So you got some more?
No, just quickly. And this is a plea for help from the podcast listeners, right?
Okay.
Because there is a bit in that song, and it's the bit where the verse goes into the chorus. That bit there, where it goes from one style into another, reminds me so much of something. And for 2 days I have been in agony trying to think what it is. There's something that it just brings me back to, and I cannot think what it is at all.
Not really anything for me straight off the bat.
No, I suspect it might be something from this time.
Okay.
Something with a very, very similar keyboard sound that going into the minor key for whatever. I don't know what it is.
Could it be the live version of this song?
I thought you were going to say Jive Funny.
Could it be Jive Bunny? Indie Bunny.
So please,
Jive Bunny's cooler cousin, Indie Bunny.
God's sake. Fucking Fonz. Bunny Fonz. Oh, Christ.
For fuck's sake.
So yes, if any of the podcast listeners have the same feeling as me, they know that, please God let me know. I am struggling. I really am struggling.
I'm fucking
Have
struggling.
you tickled yourself with your indie funny?
I've just got the giggles, man. I like this one. Fucking twat.
God's sake.
Alright, okay.
But you know, I've got nothing else really on that one.
Alright, cool. So next one is final track on the album, and it's called
Sproston Green.
Is this presumably some part of the West Midlands? Or?
Oh, I have no idea. Didn't even look it up.
Okay.
No, all I know is that this is a massive live favourite. This is one of their signature live tunes.
Yep.
Yeah. Another big long intro.
Mm-hmm. So it's Born to Be Wild then?
Yeah, that's very good actually. That's what that was, wasn't it?
That's exactly what it
Wow.
is. Get your motor running. Get out on the highway.
Well, there you go. So yeah, this is the closer for the album.
Yeah. I mean, this has got a really, really good stomp to it.
Yes. Yeah.
It builds, I mean, it's a little bit formulaic. It's verse, chorus,
Absolutely.
but then it builds into this nice instrumental breakdown jam.
Real jam.
That it ends out on. This is probably my second or third.
Yeah.
Well, it's definitely one of my favourite tracks on the album.
Okay.
Yeah, this is
Cool.
this is. I would say this is one of 3 tracks on this record that I would say that I genuinely really like.
Good. Okay.
I do think the Born to Be Wild thing is quite funny, particularly in light of the Deep Purple thing as well.
Well, yeah, true.
Yeah, there's a bit more dad rock in the Charlatans than I would have expected.
Oh, I'll tell you what. It's not necessarily at the forefront in this album, but some of their later stuff, it's very. There's MOR tinges.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean, I think one of their kind of mid 2000 albums was almost pure Americana.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but it was bollocks.
Well,
Yeah.
I will never hear it.
No, you never will. It's fine. You're happier. I think this is a brilliant closer, though. I think this is a good way to end the album because, like you say, at some point there is just this big jam where everyone's going for it.
Yeah.
So it's this is bam bam bam. This is the band, and it's a nice upbeat way to
Yeah,
go
I
out.
mean, I think it absolutely works as a good way to end the album. I think I'd have personally, if I was tracking it, I'd have put it earlier on because I think the album maybe needed a bit of that kind of
Right.
But this record is not being aimed at me necessarily. It's not
No, that is true.
I really like this one. I thought it ended strongly.
For me, I really enjoyed revisiting this. It's been a long time since I listened to this start to finish.
Okay.
I've obviously had bits and pieces pop up now and again, but I really enjoyed going back into this. I didn't love it all.
Okay.
That's not where I'm coming from. I didn't love a lot of it as much as I did in 1990.
Yeah.
Because then it was fresh.
Yeah, but you've also got a tinge of nostalgia that you get to look at it through as well.
Very much so, and this is it. So I understand I'm coming at it with some baggage of my own. That's understandable. That's fair.
And I'll be totally honest with you. I came into this album doing my absolute best to not be a prick about it. Right, and I don't think I have been a prick.
No, not at all.
about it.
Not at all.
It's an 11-track album, and there are 3 tracks on it that I like. Not that I accept, but I like. Okay,
That is a far much stretch is what I thought you were going to get out of this.
sure. But there are things on there that just really piss me off.
Fair enough.
And it doesn't make me feel like I need to rush out and listen to the next Charlatans album.
Oh, you'll hate that.
Yeah.
It's got a lot more Hammond on it.
Okay. Right. Well, that's great. So yeah, we'll see how we go.
Yeah, sure.
But it does make me go, okay, right. I appreciate what they were about. And I also go, this is a band at the start of their career, and I suspect,
true.
and I suspect they went on to do some stuff I'll find more interesting.
I think they come into their own 3 or 4 albums in. I really do, and I think there's some wonderful singles.
Okay. Well, I'm
We'll see how, yeah.
I'm more excited to hear them than I would have been. Right?
Fair
As
enough.
I say, this is a real mixed bag of an album. I would say, like I say, 2/3 of it I don't like at all.
Fine with that, yeah.
But three solid tracks. So,
Okay, well, we're at the point where we're going to have to decide which songs to put on our best of the 90s playlist.
Okay, well, let's go. I think it's fairly obvious what my 3 songs would be.
Sure.
What would your 3 songs be, given your complete druthers?
I mean, to be honest, I would probably only do 2.
Okay.
But those 2 would be Opportunity
Okay.
and You're Not Very Well, the opening track.
Well, I mean, I do not care for that first track at all.
No, that's gone. That is outside the question.
But yeah, I mean, Opportunity.
You'd go Opportunity.
Definite.
Yeah, no, that was
Okay.
one. What would be your next one?
I mean, I think the best song on there is the only one I know.
Yes.
And looking at what we've done with other albums, we have included big singles.
Oh, we can if we think it's our favourite one.
I mean, I think
then we can include it.
I mean, I think it's the best song on the album. But I also really like that last track.
Frost and Green.
Yeah. So,
I would be totally happy to put Frost and Green on for sure.
Okay.
I would go Opportunity and Frost and Green as a consensus.
Yeah.
I will put the only one I know on if you want to. I don't feel that we need to.
I'm happy to leave it off if you want to leave it off.
I would stick with 2 on this one.
Fair enough.
So
mate,
we'll do
fair
Opportunity,
enough.
we'll do Frost and Green.
Cool. Right.
Those are 2 good songs, man.
Excellent. Right, we're done.
Excellent.
Wow, I've had fun with this.
Yes.
Are you having fun with it?
I really have. And yeah, I was very happy, like I say, to go back into this, and I'm glad we did it. I'm glad I had to just blast through it again, because I would not have picked this up as an album to listen from A to B again.
Yeah, I mean, this podcast also probably had my favourite podcast moment on it, where Krister's face just completely screwed up and he looked like he was going to vomit, and we realised that Waffles had farted.
Yeah. He was sitting underneath me.
Yeah.
He got up.
Yeah.
I thought, he's moving. I think he'd got up because he'd farted and knew the smell was coming. It was fucking horrendous.
So there you go, mate. Now with Pop Collaborate and Listen, now with added dog farts.
Yeah, scratch and sniff edition.
But anyway, guys, thank you so much for joining us. I hope you've enjoyed this as much as we have. We will be back next week with...
Next week we are doing Paul Simon's Rhythm of the Saints.
Paul Simon's Rhythm of the Saints.
Yeah.
A bit of right in the middle of his world music phase,
It really
isn't he?
was. Oh,
yeah,
absolutely.
I am expecting to really enjoy this one. Until then, thank you for joining us, and we will catch up with you next time.
Indeed. All right, cheers, guys.
Bye.
Pop, Collaborate and Listen is produced, in the loosest of terms, and edited, if you can call it that, by us 2 amateurs, which is why it sounds like it does. If you do want to get in contact with us, and we would love you to, you can get us on pclmusicpodcast@gmail.com. We are on Twitter @PCLPodcast, Instagram @PCLPodcast, Facebook.com/PCLPodcast, and you can find all of this info as well as links to our Spotify playlists and that sort of thing on our website, which is PCLPodcast.com.